How's it going, everyone? Rosalind here. Today we're going to be taking a look at one of the strongest demons in Shin Megami Tensei V Vengeance, Masakado. Masakado is part of a handful of demons that are in a tier in which they can easily function as your party's primary or even only damage dealer. It should be noted though that in order to gain access to Masakado, you must play Canon of Creation, the original story path for SMT5. You will also need to complete a rather lengthy set of side quests beginning by talking to Yoshitsune in the Demon Haunt. This will all culminate in a boss fight against Masakado himself, but after that you'll be able to fuse him. Now, to really talk about what makes Masakado so strong in SMT5 Vengeance, we need to talk about his innate skill, Scarlet Blade. Scarlet Blade is Masakado's unique innate skill, and it is where basically all of his power resides. Scarlet Blade states, increases critical rate and damage of critical hits based on the number of active effects on user. To give exact numbers, this is a 40% crit rate and 10% crit damage buff for each effect on Masakado. That's a lot of buffs to crit, but what actually counts as an effect for Scarlet Blade? Well, any buff, debuff, status ailment, anything really, so long as it shows up at the top of a character's portrait in battle, it counts as an effect that Scarlet Blade looks at for its calculations. One use of Luster Candy will add 3 effects in the form of Tarukaja, Rakukaja, and Tsukukaja. These buffs can also then be stacked to 2, with each stack counting as an individual effect for Scarlet Blade, so casting Luster Candy twice is actually 6 total effects. If you are using one of my showcased builds for the main character, then maintaining Kannabi Veil will also count as an effect for Scarlet Blade. And even using a Magatsuhi skill that provides a temporary buff will also count as 1 stack. An interesting tactic that you can use for longer battles is to use a Concentrate Gem or Dono Magicy in order to give Concentrate to Masakado. Concentrate counts as an effect for Scarlet Blade, but it won't be consumed by him because he won't be casting any magic skills, effectively giving you 1 near permanent stack of the Scarlet Blade buff. I actually made use of this during the Satan boss fight myself. So now that we know how Scarlet Blade works, let's talk about the actual build for Masakado. Freykugel is our single target skill of choice, and the one you'll be using most often. It's a strength scaling almighty attack that is also very MP efficient on Masakado, but more importantly, it has an innate 20% crit rate built into it. This is important due to how crit rate is calculated in SMT5, as it allows Freykugel to benefit from Scarlet Blade's crit rate buffs much more than other skills. To complement Freykugel, we will also be using Masakado's unique skill, Recalcitrant Execution. This is our multi-target skill of choice, and much like with Freykugel, it is also a strength scaling almighty attack. However, it trades the innate crit rate of Freykugel for increased potency when it actually critically strikes. High Restore pairs especially well with Masakado and is taken for MP efficiency. Critical Zealot is taken as another crit damage multiplier on top of what Scarlet Blade provides. Enduring Soul is taken as a concession for Masakado's one major weakness, that being his lack of resistances, but it is also useful if you plan to use him for any of the game's super bosses. Murderous Glee may seem out of place given how much crit rate Scarlet Blade can provide, but it is still a useful passive to have. It helps get Recalcitrant Execution's crit rate closer to that of Freykugel's, and for bosses and Godborn enemies who have higher stats, it helps to bring Freykugel back up to the crit rate cap. Finally, Almighty Pleroma and High Almighty Pleroma are taken as another damage modifier for both Freykugel and Recalcitrant Execution. So now that we know how Masakado works and have gone over his skills, let's actually take a look at how to fuse him. Alright, so this build for Masakado is actually extremely easy to do. He learns most of the skills you want himself already, but we do need to find a way to get Enduring Soul, High Restore, and Almighty Pleroma onto him. In fact, that's actually really easy itself because they come from Aogami Essences and Tsukiyomi Essences, so if you wanted to use those since they are renewable resources, that's an extremely easy way to get them. But just in case you do want to do this through Fusion, I will be showing you how to do it through Fusion. And for that, you will want a Neburos at level 70, this is going to be for Almighty Pleroma. Cerberus at level 67, this is where we're getting Enduring Soul. Barong at level 61, this is for High Restore. Then you want a Yoshitsune, Kelpie, Komokten, and Zojoten. Once you have that together, we can start by fusing Neburos and Cerberus together to make a Gog Magog. And here we'll be passing down Enduring Soul and Almighty Pleroma. Now, once we've done that, we can fuse this Gog Magog together with Yoshitsune to make a Bishamonten, and again pass down the Enduring Soul and Almighty Pleroma. And once we've done that, we can fuse Barong together with Kelpie to make a Jikokuten. And here we'll be passing down High Restore. And with that done, we are actually ready to go and fuse the Masakado. So here we are, ready to fuse Masakado. And again, we'll be passing down Enduring Soul, High Restore, and Almighty Pleroma. And now that you've made him, all that is left is to actually level him up to level 97 to learn the last few skills. Level 95, he's going to learn Frey Kugel. Then at 96, he learns Murderous Glee. And then finally here at level 97, he learns High Almighty Pleroma. And then that is the build complete. At this point, you would want to use Sutras to get his Almighty skill potential up to 9 in order to help with that MP restoration, but other than that, he is complete and ready to go. And that'll do it for this guide on how to build Masakado in Shin Megami Tensei V Vengeance. If you found this video helpful and informative, please be sure to leave a like and consider subscribing to the channel if you haven't already. Also, if you have any questions about SMT5 or any other game that I cover, feel free to hit me up over on Twitch at twitch.tv/RoslinGaming or my Discord server, both of which are linked in the video description below. Until next time, take care.